Hello, Bocephus.
And Jarrett, if you're talking, I can't hear anything you're saying.
Hello?
I don't know if you're on mute.
Jared, I can hear you.
Uh-oh.
I hear you, Jared.
I miss you, Bo. You're on mute, Bo.
Jared, where are you at?
My room?
At the house?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Carlos, I was not ready.
Bum, 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 bum.
No, Bo, you're on mute.
My bad. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Sir.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if that's bougie Microsoft Teams y'all got me on, but anyway. I'm ready now, Jarrett, if you want to kick it off. I don't know how many people are still coming.
Yeah, I think. Here, let me double check real quick. Boom, boom, boom. We got about everybody. We got 19 right now. Got some others that are expected to be gone. So, yeah. So thank everybody for coming. We're going to do effective meetings. For those that don't know, this is Bo Stillman. He is an alumni of ours. Bo, this is the chapter. You may know some of these guys. You probably won't know most of them though. But yeah, kind of want to dive into it. There we go.
See my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Hold on. I'm trying to figure this. So first and foremost, is it showing the whole screen like the presentation? Because it doesn't show me what it's showing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm seeing the
Okay.
entire screen.
Okay. So first and foremost, if everybody could do me a favor, this is a very involved meeting, so I would like for everybody to put on or turn on your camera. If you don't have clothes on, throw some clothes on and turn your camera on. But I would like for everybody to participate and please have your camera on.
I am multitasking right now. So
Okay,
You probably not gonna see a whole lot.
that's fine. But if you're driving, I would hope that you're not driving and on this meeting. If you are, but
I'm packing everything up to start driving soon.
I am on
Okay.
the interstate going through Atlanta right now.
Okay, wow, fantastic. Well, if you are not driving and you're able to turn your camera on, please turn your camera on. So, first and foremost, as Jarrett said, we are having our lead session on effective meetings. I know several of you have been through some meetings, whether you're a freshman, sophomore, first semester. I'm sure you've went through a couple. But we're going to start off the meeting for the agenda, kind of what we want to accomplish here. I have included approximate times beside each thing, kind of what we're going to spend time on. First, we'll run through introduction. I'll go over a little bit about myself for those of you who don't know who I am or have never met me. And just kind of go over the objectives of this meeting, kind of what we want to dive into. Secondly, we'll go over expectations, what you expect out of a meeting, what you expect out of this meeting, and kind of what you expect from your leadership out of a meeting. Next, we'll go over ineffective meetings. I have a video that we're going to watch that is really only about 3 minutes long that we'll go over, and then we'll kind of discuss into that a little bit further. The majority of today is going to be spent on agendas in general, just because that's a very big part of your meeting. Without an agenda or a plan, you don't have a meeting. So the majority of our time is going to be spent on that. Conducting effective meetings, brainstorming ideas on effective meeting participation. And then we're going to dive into a tough part of it where we have some tough situations, kind of what I like to call problem children, and how to solve those. And then after that, we'll wrap up and close, review. If anybody has any questions, that'll be the time in which you can ask any questions that you've gotten throughout the entire presentation, or the entire, whatever you want to call this meeting. So,
Just a heads up, Bo, you're cutting out pretty bad. Not a single word is understood.
No.
You like, that's all I hear.
It's all right. I'll repeat what he
Is
said.
this better?
He said that this
Yes, sir.
concludes the meeting. Thank you for coming to the lead. I'm kidding.
Anyway, the AirPods are just saying screw it today, and they don't really care. Anyway, my name is Bo Steelman. I'm out of Lambda 449. I initiated in the fall of 2015 and graduated in the spring of 2019 from the Criminal Justice Department. For those of you that are in criminal justice, congratulations. You picked the easiest major on campus. I'm originally from Alexandria, Alabama. It's right down the street from Jacksonville. And I currently live in Nashville, Tennessee. I work for Amazon. I'm a customs broker. So I oversee Amazon's fulfillment shipments from China that come overseas by ship. And I'm also a sales consultant for my gym here at F45 Training in East Nashville at Nashville Nations. So if you ever think about moving to Nashville and you need a gym, I got your back. So one of the things that I wanted to just start off by discussing, and a lot of these lead sessions start off with a lead pioneer. And it's this quote by Thomas Edison that said, "Time is really the only capital that any human being has, and the thing that he can do that he can least afford to waste or lose." So I just want somebody out of this group to kind of tell me what you think about that quote and kind of what it means in relation to building effective meetings.
I think that one of the most important things for us is our time, because that's really all we have, and the utilization of our time is very important. And it's something that's just so valuable that can't be wasted because that's something that we're not ever going to get back.
Perfect. Couldn't have said it better myself. I feel like I know exactly who that was because I recognize that voice. But when you speak, all of the cameras don't pop up on my screen. So if you're not on my screen, I'm not going to know who's talking. If you don't mind, before you speak, just tell me your name just so I can start learning names as well. So when I actually do meet you in person, I know who you are. So thank you. First off, we're going to go over our objectives. Just 4 objectives that we're going to have throughout this session. By the end of this, you're going to be able to review the essentials to meeting agendas, identify the steps in planning effective meetings. You're going to be able to discuss how to deal with difficult meeting participants or those problem children that I referred to, and brainstorm how to create new involvement through these meetings. So hopefully by the end of this, you'll know how to conduct an effective meeting and handle these problem children like the back of your hand. If not, shame on you. So I'm about to drop a link here in the chat that I want everybody to go to. This is called a Jamboard, and Google puts it together. And since this is virtual, I do not have a sketch pad like is required in the materials for the meeting. So this is going to be our little material. Is there a chat that this can be dropped in?
Yeah, you should be able to see a chat button on the screen. Do you see like a little bar across the bottom half of your section? Or
Yeah.
like on the screen? It should be like a little quote looking icon. That'll open up a chat section.
Lord have mercy. Okay, well, it does not give me that option, and it may not give me that option because I'm a guest.
Let's see.
If you need to, you can possibly screen share.
This is individual collaboration, so everybody.
Send the link to my email, and then I'll post it in there.
Okay, give me just a second.
Do it that way.
Sorry, guys, I'm just a little ill prepared for this because I'm not used to hosting virtual meetings.
Bo, how was your Christmas?
It was perfect, actually. Not really, because I have COVID. So my last day of quarantine is not until Wednesday. So I didn't get to go home for Christmas.
Neither did I. Actually got to come home today, and here I am on a big session with you guys. Let's go. Go Cox.
So.
Fear the beak.
Jarrett, let me know when you get that link.
I just got it.
Okay, perfect. When you share the link, you should just be able to click it and go into it. If it may make you sign into a Google account. If you have one, hopefully you have one. It should just let you go into it as anonymous, like Anonymous Armadillo just joined. And I want you to go to the first frame where it says, when you think of meetings, what words come to mind? And then I'll let everybody get into that.
Quick question on that. Are we just supposed to see it? We're supposed to type in it?
No, you can type in it. I'll go over that in just a second.
You're gonna have to
Okay.
give us
My
access.
bad. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good. So for those of you that are in it, on the left-hand side, you should see a couple of options. There's a pen, an eraser, a little cursor. Yes.
We're in the view only.
Oh shit! Why is it view only? You should be able to edit it.
If everybody looks to their right, they should see a view only mode. You're gonna have to request edit access. So go ahead and do that, and it should give Bo a chance to do that.
You should be able to do it.
It's probably because we're guests. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Well, hell. Okay, pause. I'm fixing it now, editor. Okay, everybody just refresh.
Okay, that worked for me.
Okay, I fixed it. Is anybody not able to edit now after refreshing? Okay, perfect. So, as I was saying, on the left-hand side, you should see pen, erase, a cursor, and then sticky note. What I want everybody to do is answer this question with a sticky note. So you can click sticky note, select whatever color you want to select, type a little something short to it, what words come to mind, and then click save, and then just stick it somewhere on this thing. Who is doing that? And then I'm gonna give everybody a second to do that. Just put them everywhere on here, not over the words. So when you think of meetings, what words come to mind? Also, disclaimer, a lot of you don't know me, but I was actually saying this to Jarrett earlier. I expect participation from everybody. If you are not participating, I will call you out by name.
How do I do the sticky note again? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. On the left-hand side, there is a little box on the fourth option down. It says sticky note. Just click on it, and then it'll pull up a box that you can type in. And when you're done typing, just click save, and it'll pop up.
I'm trying to do this from my phone, but I'm going to try to get on my computer and like go to this link so I can actually do this.
That's totally fine. We've still got a couple more that you can collaborate on if for some reason you can't do this one. Okay, so I see a lot of good ones on here, a couple of honest ones. One of the biggest things I'm seeing is structure. Every meeting needs a little bit of structure. That's correct. Teams, information, meetings are meant to be informative, but I also see a couple of honest ones. Time consuming, a bit boring, you know, which is totally understandable because without, you know, proper information or without being able to plan something, it can get a bit boring because it's just on and on and on, right? And that's what we're trying to avoid, and that's also a purpose of this meeting. So just, you know, think about how many of you have attended meetings that were not productive and that were not unorganized. Probably all of you, right? I know I'm in the corporate world, and have you ever heard the saying, this meeting could have been an email? I literally have meetings every single day of my work life that could have been an email because they were unplanned and didn't mean anything outside of, let me type this paragraph and just send it to the whole team. So it happens everywhere, not just in college, not just in, you know, fraternity life. It happens everywhere. So next, enough of, you know, introduction. We kind of ran over everything that we needed to go over. We're going to go over meeting expectations. So if you go to the next slide on the Jamboard, you're going to see 2 circles, and you can put, you know, those sticky notes in the circles. Just make sure you're putting them what you think on the circles themselves or near the circles. So what I want to ask from you all is, what are the goals and expectations from yourself and other participants? Meaning, what do you expect from yourself as a meeting participant, and what do you expect from others in meetings? Seeing a lot of good ones. Come in with a plan, active listening, be involved, participate. For yourself, open to every opinion. Others, attentive. That kind of goes in with actively listening. Teamwork, attention, participation. These are all very good expectations and goals from everybody. So a couple that I just want to go over that I thought of is a good one from both yourself and others is be on time. That is a very big thing. If you're late to a meeting, you know, if you're on time, you're late, because meetings are set to start right at that time. So say this was supposed to start at 7, it needed to start right at 7, but of course we had some technical issues. Apologize for that. But that's one of the most important things of the meeting is be on time. And I'm seeing, you know, be attentive and respectful of the meeting leader and other participants. Actively contribute to the discussion, decision-making portions of the meeting. And after decisions were made, even if you're in the minority during the voting and decision-making process, please support the decisions of the group. That goes into the most important thing I feel in a meeting is be open-minded to everyone's ideas. You're not going to have the same opinion as everybody else, and everybody else is not going to have the same opinion that you do. And if you're not open-minded to everyone else's ideas, it's just going to create issues for that meeting, and it's going to make it ineffective to yourself and ineffective to everybody else, which is not what we want. Correct? So with that being said, if you'll go to the next Jamboard, the third one, we're going to talk about goals and expectations from a meeting leader. So a lot of times right now, Jarrett is your meeting leader. What do you expect from Jarrett as an effective meeting leader? Or in your committees, what do you expect from your committee chair as an effective meeting leader? Seeing some good ones. Be direct, straight to the point, leadership, strength, confidence. These are all really good qualities of a leader. Don't let jokes consume time. Shut it down. That's a good one. That goes into not only wasting your time, but everybody else's. Discuss ideas. That's being open-minded. Open-mindedness is a very strong thing to have as a strong characteristic of a leader. Who put this one? Humble enough to ask questions when they don't know what they're doing.
Martin.
Perfect. That is excellent. Being humble as a leader is the perfect quality. Not everybody knows everything. And whether you think you have a PhD, doctorate, whatever you think, whatever education you may have, you do not know everything. There is always going to be somebody out there that knows more than you do about one particular thing. So don't be afraid to ask questions. And that's not just for a leader, that's for everybody else as well. So perfect. Props to you on that answer. And then just think about this question. We're not really going to go over it that much just because we're a little bit limited on time already. Think about these things in both of these Jamboard slides. How do you feel that these expectations will matter for an effective meeting to take place? Just kind of put that into your head as we go through the rest of this session, and kind of compare your ideas and your hypothesis to an effective meeting against what we're going over here. So I'm going to play this video right here, or actually you wouldn't be able to click it because I'm sharing my screen. So I'm going to share my screen with this video. What I want you to do is to watch it, and we're going to kind of go over what has gone on in the meeting and discuss it.
Mommy, a superhero! Wow, Stevie.
God. Okay, can we see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Tell me if you're able to hear the audio.
I was on this date the other night.
Yep.
We were at this.
Can y'all hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
All right, guys, you guys ready to get started? Hang on a second. Trip, you ready to get started, buddy? Okay. Hey, you guys, we're all here. We should start. All right. Thanks for coming, guys. I just wanted to take a few minutes and talk about some ideas for the marketing strategy this year. So if you got one, just throw it out there. I'd love to hear them.
Yeah. How long is this meeting supposed to last? The schedule wasn't exactly clear.
Should be out of here in 30.
Is that approximate or?
Hey, guys. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. I got caught in traffic.
7 minutes, actually.
What's that?
A couple is 2.
So what we're doing is we're just coming up with some ideas for our new marketing strategy.
Sure.
So, anyone?
I think we should implement Pinterest.
Ooh, that's a fun idea.
What about a publicity event in the park?
Interesting. But how are you going to plan around the weather? What if it rains?
So we'll party in the rain.
Okay, just want to emphasize there's no bad ideas here. We're just brainstorming. So.
Yeah, I'm just really thinking it'll be a huge waste of money to try to plan around the weather.
Yeah, okay, we get your concerns. Nancy, thank you.
Okay, anyone else have an idea? Ephraim?
I've always wanted to see rain fall down all at once in a big splash instead of small drops over time. I mean, think how it could impact the irrigation system.
Okay. Terry?
Well, I have an idea from my previous job that I had last year. Let me take that back a little bit. I have this wonderful idea, but it doesn't really make sense unless I just take it back a second and bring it forward together. It was like 3 weeks ago that I remember he said something that I couldn't understand.
Hold on a second, Terry. Hold on. Thanks for pointing. Here's what we need to do. Okay? Lauren, you got this? We do a video submission contest on YouTube.
Oh, that's been done.
It'll be on Facebook, it'll be on Pinterest, it'll be on Twitter.
If we do something with technology, we lose the senior demographic.
So, you guys want to see an example?
Should we be moving on to the next topic? I mean, it's already 1:15.
Quarter after. That's funny.
Who knows how to put this on the screen? Up there, because you're not going to, I want you to see all the details. We have cable. Does this cable work? I think that's power.
I don't know if on the there's an
this one.
HDMI.
That cord's not going to be long enough.
In the back,
does that remote go to
like
the
2 or 3,
TV?
like HDMI 1.
Plenty of time, guys.
HDMI 2,
No rush.
This isn't working.
I got a green marker.
Call the IT guy. Wait,
There's
turn
also,
what off and back
what
on?
do you call it? S-video.
Hello?
Okay, I've got it working.
Hit play. Okay, now imagine hundreds of those floating around the web. Do you want to watch it one more time?
No, please.
Trip, I think you're onto something with this idea. I really like it. Carol, did you get that down?
Yeah, got it.
Sorry, what is C-test up sub YT pros?
Well, I'm abbreviating to make room for all these great ideas. Contest, uploading it to YouTube, funniest, and you get a prize.
Wait, where are the other ideas?
And time.
Wait, where y'all going? We still have
100% of the things to accomplish.
All right. So, that was for lack of better words, a shit show of a meeting, right? So, somebody, I don't really matter. It don't really matter who. Anybody that wants to answer first. What were some of the things that were issues that you noticed were going on in this meeting?
Hi, how's it going? It's your boy Cruz. Well, I'm definitely rambling, so I kind of relate to that one a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna stop there because I'm gonna start rambling.
Okay. Who else?
I think another big issue is like it's easy to get distracted in meetings. So the lady that was on her phone or her tablet, whatever, it's very easy to get into the social world during times of boredom.
Okay. Okay.
Just
my volume
just as a
is
whole.
being kind of weird. Sorry, this is Ricardo, by the way. My bad. My volume being kind of weird, so I couldn't really hear. So if somebody spoke on this, I'm sorry, but you need to be able to take criticism well. You know, not all of your ideas are going to be the greatest, and that's okay. You know, not everybody's going to have the best idea. Not everybody's going to have the worst idea. But regardless, a good leader takes criticism very well. That's just something that I noticed.
Okay. So there are a couple of older people that spoke out. Newer brothers, freshmen. Somebody give me an answer. One of you youngins.
Hi,
They weren't
my name.
really letting the leader lead.
Again, y'all jumped on top of each other.
Thomas. I'd say some of us, I can be a little bit of a time Nazi. Always in it. I'm wondering how long it's going to take. Because I don't like my time being wasted. So if you waste my time, I'm just not going to pay attention.
Perfect. Who else was it that spoke? Go ahead.
Hi, my name is
Evan
Ray.
Brandau.
Okay, let's just solve this. Okay, if somebody talks over, one of y'all just be the strong voice and speak over.
Go ahead, Evan.
Next one picks up after that, okay?
They weren't letting the leader lead. This is Evan Brandau.
Okay.
Little.
So, my name is Ray, and I had noticed that the guy that had the idea, it took him like forever to get his idea out. And that's another thing. Get straight to the point. If you have an idea, and don't ramble on for like 10 minutes.
Perfect. Because that would be wasting, not only your time, but everybody else's. Okay. All good responses. Perfect. Starting to get some participation. Y'all start to warm up a little bit because there's going to be more participation. Yay. Okay. So let me get the PowerPoint. Listen, nobody has an excuse. I have COVID right now, and I'm participating and doing this whole presentation. So,
We thank you for your service.
Okay. So, so that I can see everybody, I'm just gonna leave the presentation like this. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but you can still see it. So, moving on to the brunt of what this entire meeting is going to be about. So, agendas. We had perfect expectations. Everybody kind of has an idea of what an ineffective meeting is. Now we're going to move on to start building these effective meetings and what goes into them. So, one of the biggest things for an effective meeting is an agenda. Your agenda needs to cover the list of your key topics that need to be covered. With a time limit for each topic, you don't want to spend any more time on a topic than what needs to be spent. Like I said in the beginning, I'm sure that you've all attended meetings where something has been talked about way too much and it's like beating a dead horse. That's not what meetings need to be like. It needs to be short, to the point, get the topic over with, handle what needs to be handled, and move on. There can be many different topics and styles of agendas for every meeting. There are certain topics that should be included in all agendas. We're going to skip this part with what are some of these topics on the Jamboard, just because I'm trying to catch up on time from the technical issues that we've had. But what I do want is you to pull up the Jamboard, and I want you to go to frame 5. It should say meeting sequence. I want not an upperclassman. I want young children. Somebody, I need one volunteer, and speak before you go in there and do it so we know who's doing it. I need one volunteer who is an underclassman, who is new, to go in and put these in order of what you think a meeting agenda should look like. So I need one volunteer, somebody that has not spoke and has not done anything yet.
This is Aaron. I'll do it.
Perfect. Thank you, Aaron. So you should just be able to drag those around and then just put them in the order that you think they need to go in. Don't be drawing stuff. All right, you done?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Upperclassmen, I want you to look at this and tell me if you think there is a mistake in this order. Okay, I know some of y'all don't make me start calling people out.
I personally don't know what one is supposed to look like either, but based off of what I do know, that does not seem correct.
Okay. Perfect. So thank you for your honesty. So I appreciate that. So with that being said, we're going to go over it. So we're going to leave it the way that it is. So the first thing should be formal agenda. Great job, Aaron. You got that one correct. Formal agenda should be written. It includes your order of business, time limits for discussion items, indicates any items that require a decision, and is provided to all participants in advance of the meeting, whether it be email, whether it be printed out and you're given a piece of paper at the door. But all members should know at the beginning of the meeting, before the meeting, how the meeting is going to go. Second is call to order. So before you can do anything in the meeting, you have to call order to the meeting. This is the formal start of the meeting. It's typically performed by the meeting leader, or in the cases of some organizations, is done in the form of ritual. So the call to order is going to be opening ritual, correct? So we're going to move this. Okay, second is call to order. Third is roll call. This is where you're going to check to see who's in the meeting. It's taking of attendance, usually verbally, by calling out each member's name. When I was recorder, I would just go through the room because I knew who was who, and I would just put who was there and who was not based off the current roster of who was active at that time. And it gets logged in a journal. Some smaller formal meetings may consist of a silent roll call, which is kind of what I just described. You know who's who, you can see who's there and who is not there. And that's sufficient. You don't have to call each person by their third, you're going to read and approve the minutes from the previous meeting. This is typically performed by the recorder. It's helpful in obtaining information on tasks assigned from the last meeting, getting an update to regain information from the last meeting. I like to think of it as TV shows when it's to be continued and the next episode comes out and it says previously on. That's kind of what I think of it as. This is what our previous meeting had. This is what we did. This is what we accomplished. If you agree, then say you agree. We'll motion, we'll approve these and get on with business. This way, all the information participants need for the current meeting is on the sheet. So if you do have to go back and reference something, all of those have been approved. You can say, well, the chapter read over these. Everybody agreed. This is our official record of this meeting. So after that, you move into old business. This consists of any agenda items that were not covered during the last meeting, and it's something I did not include, or business that has been tabled. So if you have new business in an old meeting that was not able to go over and it was tabled to the next meeting, you would address that in old business. An example would be someone working on a specific project might be asked to update the group on the progress of the project. Should that require a decision? So this is business that has been touched in a previous meeting that has been pushed to the next meeting. Does that make sense? Yes, no, screw you. Okay, so then you move into new business. This consists of any new projects, any new item that needs to be addressed by a chapter, or anything else that needs to be discussed at the meeting that has not been brought up in the past. So this is new. You don't know about it. The chapter doesn't know about it. It needs to be discussed and it needs to be addressed because it has never been addressed before. After all of that's done, old business, new business, then you can move into major announcements. You know, it can include birthdays. I like to, in all of my meetings, I like to give people the opportunity to have call outs or shout out somebody, like shout out to this person. They did good doing this, or they did good doing this. A lot of times, especially in college, I know it helped me out a lot to just have that positive reinforcement that, hey, you're doing a good job, keep it up, and everybody is proud of you for doing this thing. Doesn't have to be anything special, just like, hey, shout out to so-and-so, they told me they made a $100 chemistry test. Perfect. Or it could be reminders about events, deadlines, anything like that. After all the pertinent information has gone out, major announcements, new business, this is where you can open up discussion from participants or members. Discussion and feedback needs to be given throughout the entire meeting, but after discussing business, you give brothers the opportunity to allow anyone to discuss topics they didn't have the opportunity to bring up during new and old business, because this could simply be a chance to comment on how the meeting went or make smaller personal announcements about yourself. You know, if you've got something going on you think the chapter needs to know about, whether that be personally, business, school, this would be your opportunity to discuss that. After all that's complete, it's going to be the close of meeting. All meetings should end with some sort of formal closing. In Sigma Nu's case, that's going to be close ritual, which is led by the EC. That could be, you know, in business meetings, something as simple as the leader saying the meeting's adjourned, or like I said, could take the form of some ritual closing. Sigma Nu has an abbreviated or alternate meeting-specific agenda for chapter meetings. It's going to be following the same, kind of the same meeting sequence, but there are some additions. So in between reading and approval of minutes and old business, there would be the initiation of candidates, proposition for membership. So during rush season, when we're giving out bids, voting, it would be before any old business or new business, and elections of members and officers would be before old and new business as well. All three of those things per Sigma Nu Nationals are their own parts of the meeting. They're not considered specific old and new business, as they have their own separate part of the agenda. Then you move into old business. In between old and new business, you have your committee officer reports. So that would be, reports from the EC. That would be reports from the committee chair, social chair, fundraising. And after those reports, then you move into new business, major announcements, brother comments, close of meeting. So there's just a few additions, excuse me. That is the ginger ale talking. But that's the addition of a couple of things that Sigma Nu views as having their own specific portion of the agenda that does not fall under a typical meeting sequence. So, Jarrett, were you able to do breakout rooms?
Martin was tasked with that. Martin? Caleb?
Oh, I was muted. How many rooms do you want?
There needs to be no more than 5, no less than 3 in each room.
Okay.
And before you do, while you're working on that, we're going to do breakout rooms. I'm going to put you in groups of 3 to 5, or Martin is going to put you in groups of 3 to 5. I am going to put this link right here in the chat that I now have access to because it has now popped up. This little doc is going to have your scenario. You are going to look at the scenario, and you're going to look at the scenario, and you are going to create an agenda for this meeting. That makes sense? Anybody that does not make sense to? Okay, perfect. So I'm sharing this link now. We're going to spend about 15 minutes in these breakout rooms to give everybody the opportunity to create their agenda. You're going to utilize the same Jamboard. There is a group 1 through 5 on there. If there needs to be more, we can create more. But whatever your group number is, you're going to post in that Jamboard, and then we're going to come back to it and we're going to discuss. There is a disclaimer. This is not going to be a group activity where one person is doing the whole thing. I will be looking at the Jamboard. I can tell who is on it, who is not, and who's posting stuff and who is not posting stuff. And I'm going to be able to tell who's not participating. So please participate. Also, pick a strong speaker to discuss your agenda and why you chose what you chose. You'll have about 15 minutes to work on it, and then we'll come back and discuss it. So, Martin, whenever you get that done, we'll go into these breakout rooms. If you cannot access the Google Doc, please let me know.
Okay.
Ricardo, is it not letting you edit? Can you view it at all? Ricardo.
You might get sucked out.
Okay, that's fine. So is this one?
I couldn't create one for myself.
Okay, so the people that are in here now, this is the breakout group for this group.
No, I think, let's see, created a group for a couple of these guys. I think these guys might have joined back to the main one. Because looking right here, it says both Evans got placed together.
Okay.
So if you're still here in the main page, go ahead and go to the top right, and there should be like two little squares. If you're looking at your computer, I don't know about on your phone. Two little squares that are like breakout rooms. Each people access the your room that way.
Caleb, I guess you can just hang out with me. You're good.
Okay. Fix and say, I know how to lead a meeting pretty well. I'm also in the corporate world, so.
Well, while that's going on, if everybody else is going into their meetings, I'm going to make another beverage.
Yeah, I don't know how to do this on iPhone.
Yeah, same. I don't have my laptop on me right now.
Yeah, don't ask me. I'm on my desktop.
My phone's almost dead. I can't find my charger.
Shit.
If you want me to, but I can
Sitting here talking. Anyway, those of you that can't get into the breakout rooms, Evan, Ricardo, that's totally okay. I'm fine with two of y'all being out of it. Just sit tight for the 15 minutes, take a 10-15 minute break, but pay really, really close attention when we start going over it, because I may call on you for stuff. So just just pay attention is what I can say. Go into the Jamboard and just kind of look at what other people are putting on the Jamboard, and just go from there.
I still can't figure out how to do this on my phone.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Let me see if I can just force you into a group, Evan.
And Caleb, if you would just make sure everybody is using the Jamboard, just to make sure, because I can't get into the breakout rooms to kind of see how everybody is doing.
I bought the wrong charger.
That's not fun.
I can also put you in the rooms too, Bo.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
You should be able to come back here to the main one. Once you go back here, I'll put you in a different one. All right, let's see.
Hey,
Jim,
Bo,
Jared.
we had a question about it.
Go ahead.
So with the Google Docs, is it so when it says scenario, like it says like the scenario, are those individual ones or do we do the whole thing?
You do the whole thing. That's what the entire meeting is about. So you're coming
Wait,
up.
I can't hear you.
Am I on mute?
No, I can hear you.
Okay. You're coming up with an agenda for that whole meeting. So that scenario is what's going on, and you need to come up with an agenda to discuss what needs to be done from beginning to end. Does that make sense?
I'm going to assume it did. You there, Ryan?
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Go.
Okay. Yeah. So does that make sense? I don't know if he's...
Ryan, does that make sense? Christ alive.
Okay. It's fine.
All right, let me drop you in. I'll drop you on Jared.
Okay. Or I can stay in this one, and if people have questions, they can just come back and forth.
Okay, whichever one you want.
I'll just stay here if people have questions, and they can pop in, and I'll just answer whether they've got questions or not.
Okay.
I won't worry about it too much.
Did Bo just leave?
I think he did.
I think it just assigned him automatically. Oh, it did.
Bro, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do to get there. Did Ricky figure it out?
Yeah, it should send you like a notification. Join, I think.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think it just sent him to room 3.
Dude, I've got no idea.
Here, I'll unassign you real quick to a room. You want to go with Philip, Parker, and all them?
Sure.
Sometimes I'll just see like a notification, maybe. I don't know. I've never really done breakout rooms, nor have I done it on the phone.
Oh. Oh, fuck. There we go. Alright. I'm getting off this one then.
I see it. I think it automatically assigned you to the one. Oh, never mind.
I'm coming back here so I can grab the thing real fast. Martin, then can you throw me back in?
Yeah, you should just be able to join back. I think it automatically assigned you after a while, though.
Yeah, it did. You're good though.
Can you find mine?
Martin, is there a way for you to pull everybody back at one time?
Yep, and I can do room by room if you want to do that way.
Okay. I'll let you know at like 10 after. Go ahead and pull everybody back.
Okay.
If you're coming, come on. Come on. Stop. Sit. If you're gonna be up here, you're gonna sit. If you're gonna be up here, you're gonna sit down. Sit.
I'm gonna go and put them in.
I guess they're pulling us back in.
Looks like it. I just got that sticky note done.
Wait, we're pulling us in? Oh, they did.
Did y'all just forcefully like make me rejoin? That's possible?
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's like slavery with extra steps.
I could have been naked and they pulled me in like that. Not cool.
Exactly. That's crazy.
Well, I hope you wouldn't be in a meeting with everybody else.
It depends on the cat meeting, bro. Oh wait, we're being recorded.
Yep.
I can't camera for some reason. That's weird. My phone is heating up.
Right. Do we have everybody back?
Yeah, we should.
Right. Perfect. So, everybody was able to kind of figure it out and at least get started. Yeah, no, maybe. I'm going to jump off a cliff.
We did good. I'll tell you that. We did good.
Okay, perfect. So, group one, who is your speaker? Who is group one speaker?
I wasn't making that sticking up.
Gavin is
I'm
a.
not
Oh, Gavin, you're muffled.
Make Noah do it. I can't do it.
You sound like
Are
speaking
you group
underwater.
one speaker?
All right, I guess I'm the speaker. What's up, guys?
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
Noah.
I don't really care who speaks. Somebody just got to speak.
All right, it would be me.
Perfect. So walk us through your thought process, through your group's thought process, and kind of what you came up with.
Well, we got confused at the start.
Okay.
Because there are several ways you can do this.
Okay.
It took us a minute to get the right way though. And once we figured it out, we only got like three notes done. It was all my fault. But do you just want what's written on the sticky notes to be said?
Yeah, just kind of go over your thought process, how you got what you got, and just go with it.
All right, so it was agenda, right? So on an agenda is a list of what will be discussed throughout the meeting, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The
And
agenda
so
is the order of events as to what is going to be discussed. Yes.
yes. All right. So at 5 o'clock, the meeting will start, and upon walking in the room, everyone will get a sheet with the agenda and the rules, like the agenda of the homecoming events, like everything that needs to be discussed. Then at between 5 and 5:10, we'll be delegating activities for every participant. When that is finished, until 5:15, we'll be collecting t-shirt sizes and discussing designs for the t-shirt. And then from 5:15 to 5:20, we'll be discussing the grow out, and that is all we got.
Okay. So that's a good start. There's no big on not being able to figure it out. Y'all were not the only group that had questions. So that is totally okay. Y'all were off to a very good start with what you do have. You had your time limits, what needed to be discussed, what was going to be discussed between when and where. So yeah, very good start. So props to you, even though that you had some hiccups in the beginning. Not all meetings are going to go smoothly, but awesome. Good job, Group 1. Group 2, who's the speaker?
I guess it'll be me, Philip.
Okay.
Sorry. So we were kind of in the same boat at first that we didn't we kind of messed it up a little, and so we didn't really get like an agenda with like times and everything like Noah's group did.
Okay.
But we did kind of go through just like everything we would need to make sure we had like ready to talk about. Like we needed to make sure like we read the rules for the t-shirt contest and everything to make sure everybody kind of knew like, it just make sure everybody knows the rules, everybody knows what's going on. We also kind of went a little, I think we went a little too into detail with some of this with the time allotted, but we kind of like went through like everything we would need for like the t-shirts, the t-shirt competition, like get them ordered, all that stuff. I'm sorry, this is really small on my phone. I'm trying to read everything we said. We also went through, like, it said to give the treasurer a detailed list of, like, expenses. Mm-hmm. So we tried to go over that with, like, how much the shirts were going to cost, how much the float was going to cost, as well as, like, splitting that with the sorority we were working with.
Okay.
So, and it was really just the t-shirts we talked about a lot, if we're being honest. I think that's kind of, we also went and we made like not a calendar, but just kind of made sure we were going to talk about when each event was, like, for like the game on Saturday, the float contest on Friday, like all that stuff.
Okay. So, first of all, good job being detailed and getting everything down. One call out. I am a brother that has no idea of anything that's going on. I have no idea about homecoming. I'm brand new. I've never been through a college homecoming ever in my life. And I'm handed this with just this scattered information on it, and it's not in any particular order. Could you see that could become an issue?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. That you were going by?
Excuse me?
Did y'all have like a particular order, or were you just like jotting down?
We were trying to get them.
We were going more for like a spider graph thing, but we couldn't really draw in the thing.
Okay, perfect. That's fine. Just looking at it, I was having trouble following an order, and that's kind of how and what an agenda is an order of events, right?
Correct.
But that's totally fine. Perfect. Like I said, I love how detailed we were, and all of the different aspects of what needed to be discussed in there. The only constructive criticism that I would provide is just make sure when you have this information that you're putting it in an order of events. What needs to be discussed first, that is most urgent or most important, all the way down to what is least important or what needs to be discussed either at the last point or at a later time. So, good job, group 2. Props to you. I love your attention to detail. Just work on that order, okay? So,
thank you.
Yep. Group 3. Who's our spokesperson for group 3? Also, please tell me your name when you're speaking so I can learn who you are. So I can harass you when I come back to Jacksonville.
He will do it.
Spokesman number 3.
Evan or Seth.
Who's lucky number 3?
You know, I'll just do it because nobody else is doing it.
Perfect. I love the bias for action. Great.
So,
I
feel like we did this wrong, but I'm gonna give you what we have anyway.
Okay.
So, at first, the first part of the meeting is we would talk about the T-shirt and like design the appropriate T-shirt and everything like that. And then we would discuss like we would pick up the items from the student involvement office, like who's going to go do that and things like that. We would reach out to the sorority, but the sorority would be there. We would have the meeting with them. We kind of got confused. So yeah, we would reach out to the sorority. We would come up with a budget during that meeting. So that way everything, like we have a certain amount of money that we need to spend on everything. Once we do that, there's the meet with the sorority and the fraternity. Like we would delegate like who's going to be doing the float and the banner, like who's the most creative with that. Then who's going to get the grill and all the other required materials for the cookout and things like that. Discuss who will be involved in what event. So like any other, besides what the other people are doing, like who else is going to be doing what during homecoming week. And then who's participating in the Spirit Day event. And then that's all we got.
Okay. So I love the start here. Y'all had an order as to what order you wanted things to go in. One thing I want to ask is, how did you prioritize this order? Like, what was your group's thinking process as to what needed to be discussed first versus what needed to be discussed last?
The way that we kind of talked about it, just kind of reading the scenario, we kind of just went in order of that.
Okay.
But T-shirt design, I think it said that it needed to be 3-week picked out beforehand. So, that kind of took priority first before we could really do anything. And then kind of each day as it progressed, we decide from there.
Okay. So, group 3, could we all agree that in a meeting, when things are being discussed, things that have a time deadline that is nearing or that would come before everything else needs to be discussed first?
Yes, and that was our goal with putting those things first.
Okay, awesome. I like that realm of thinking. Good job, group 3. I liked the way that you put it together, and I like the way that you prioritize things. So, good job.
Thank you.
Okay, who is lucky number 4? The longer y'all wait, the longer we're going to be in this meeting. So, chop, chop. Somebody start talking.
All right. Let me get over to it real quick. Sorry, my phone's burning my hands off. It's Andrew, by the way.
Thank you so much, Lumpkin.
So we also got confused with what all we really needed. We didn't know whether we were designing everything already or if we were supposed to put a vote. So we just did our own thing.
Okay.
So the first thing we started talking about were T-shirts, and we kind of guesstimated that'd probably be about $15 per T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought a good idea was to get a white T-shirt with a DeLorean for the Blast of the Past text on it.
Okay.
And our goal was to at least sell 100 of the shirts to help pay for supplies. And another way to help out with involvement with the student body would be to have a tie-dyeing station during the cookout.
Right.
And we assume that the price for the actual supplies would be probably around $6.50 per every 25 shirts that were dyed. That was our thought process for the t-shirts. And then we went on to the floats. We didn't get much into the floats. All we thought about were it'd probably be 2 weeks to build floats during lunch hours or after school. And then we moved on to the banner, and we assumed it'd probably be around $30, with it being about $10 for the bed sheet, $10 for the paint, and $5 for the brush. And the design we were going to do was to have the cover from Back to the Future, except for instead of Marty McFly, it'd be Cocky. And whoever the rival team was, we'd be playing for that game, would be behind the DeLorean and Cocky that was ran over. Right. And for more student body participation, we were thinking each grade level could dress up from different decades, and whoever had the best costumes and spirit would win the contest. And that's about as far as we got in our initial planning phase.
Okay, perfect. So I like the approach here as well. And if y'all haven't noticed, I love doing this. I love giving compliment sandwiches where I compliment, criticize, and then compliment again. I've been doing it the whole time. I do like your approach. I like the ideas that you came up with off of the scenario. One thing I want to say is you are kind of like group two. You started with really great ideas and we're going straight into planning it. But the objective here was to plan the meeting and what needed to be discussed versus planning the actual event itself. So the things that you came up with would have been something that would be discussed in the meeting. So what you could say in your agenda is, you know, planning design for t-shirts, planning design for float, you know, in the order that it needed to be discussed versus actually planning the event outside of the meeting, because the agenda is the actual purpose of the meeting. So this is everything that you would discuss in the meeting. But like I said, I really like the approach. I like the ideas. That's really cool. Keep that in your back pocket if homecoming next year is Back to the Future, because I really, really like this. So good job, group four. Keep in mind, as I said, the basis for your meeting is to plan within the meeting, and the agenda is to plan the meeting, right? Good. All right, group five. Who is lucky number 5?
All right, so it's Jarrett, by the way. We didn't do the timestamp things, but we kind of broke it down in the aspect of who is our committee and kind of the roles and responsibilities of the members, and it's basically in the order of where we wanted to touch it on. So we threw out Commander first, just to go down the line. We needed to make sure and ensure that he knew all the dates. So those are outlined in green, those green sticky notes. So those are important for him to know. He's put on the committee strictly to know that and to be in contact with the chapter advisor. So we'd spend some time on his roles. Then we jump into sorority relations. This is somebody we would delegate, and they would be the primary contact for the sorority, but they would also be in charge of the banner competition and game day allocations, such as like sitting as a group and stuff like that. We didn't go into too much detail, just because there's a lot of variables, you know, with an actual situation versus a scenario. So we kind of just put the basic premises. So he would kind of go into this, and we would touch back on it at a secondary meeting once we get more of the facts, because the next guy, which is our rules guide, he would be in charge of picking up that rules packet. So most of our stuff cannot get started until we get that rules packet. So we get him, he'd go pick that up, Then we jump into it. He would make sure that at the next chapter, the rules will be read to the organization members, as well as be in charge of the float so he can mitigate any rules that are violated. The t-shirt designer would come in. This is probably where we'd spend most of our time during this first meeting, due to the fact that, as almost every other group has touched on, the deadline is pretty important. So it's something we jump on at the very beginning. We'd add the assistant treasurer to cover the finances. They would have to figure that out as the meetings progressed, starting obviously with the t-shirts because that is priority. And then we added a cookout bro that will be in charge of the student grill out. We didn't know what to call him, so we just called him cookout bro. But that's where that would go, as well as the Thursday Team Spirit Day. We were allocating that, and then we just ran out of time, so that one was still being allocated.
Perfect. Gotcha. So that was really good. I like your thought process into it, Group 5, and kind of trying to outline what needs to be discussed, who needs to do what, where. The only really criticism I have, and it's the same for all groups, apply these ideas and these things that you've came up with to the template. So like your formal agenda is written out, includes your order of business, specifies time limits for discussion, indicates items that require a decision from everybody else, in like a chronological order. And I found some agendas that I had from when I was recorder that I'm going to show you all from back in the day. So let me see if I can pull this up and just kind of show you the thought process. It has been nearly 5 years since I've opened up some of these agendas. So let me see if I can try to get them open. Okay. So if you all want to speed up your computer, you can exit out of the Jamboard and out of the scenario because we're not going to be utilizing those two anymore. And Microsoft Word is working, but it's probably going slow because, like I said, I haven't opened these in 5 years. Anyway, we're going to move on, and when those come up, then I'll show you all. So, let me go ahead and start sharing this again. Oh, perfect. Here we go. So, let me pull this down. So, the kind of agenda format has changed a bit in the past 5 years. This particular agenda is from March 5th, 2017. This is when we started trying to keep paper records of everything that we've done. We're trying to boost our PEP scores. Can you all see this?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the way that I did it, I just kind of laid it out. This was a very short meeting. We had no old business. We had a couple of new business items. Some of you may have been here. I don't think anybody was here during this. Was anybody here in March of 2017?
No.
Perfect. Okay. So back in this time, I was recorder. Caden Mullen was the commander. So you can see that I've got our call to order, roll call, reading and approval of the agenda. That's no longer on there anymore. Back in 2017, Sigma Nu wanted everybody to approve the agenda before we moved on to it. And at that time, you could make amendments to the agenda if you so chose. If you saw that new business or old business needed to be addressed that was not on the agenda, that's where you would have made a motion to amend the agenda and add items. Reading and approval of minutes. And then at that point, we had committee and officer reports before all business. So you have all of your officers here that would give their reports. And this is also the template that I would use to type out my minutes. I would just change agenda to minutes, and I would add all of my notes under these items so that I could keep them together. You could see this day that we had no old business, so there was nothing old that needed to be discussed. And we were voting on new members in this meeting. So we were voting on people that candidates that were to become brothers. And we were holding elections for the chaplain. And for those of you that know Chandler Henderson, this is also the meeting where we voted on Chandler Henderson's bid on whether to extend him a bid or not. As you well know, we did extend him a bid because he is a brother. So, So this was kind of the template of the agenda. Like I said, it's changed a bit in the past 5 years, but this is kind of like what it should look like with every meeting in a nutshell. Okay, we got a couple more slides left, and then I'm gonna let y'all go do whatever y'all want to do, whatever y'all young children do, whether you go get drunk or go to sleep or do whatever. Let me get back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so moving right along. Our next point is going to be conducting effective meetings. There are 5 main skills of meeting effectiveness, being planning, informing, preparing, structuring, control, and summarizing and recording. The first being planning. Planning, as we've spoke about the entire time with agendas, is key to any meeting. It's important that you do your research and ensure that the meeting has a clear and specific purpose. You set a very firm agenda, make sure the agenda is set out ahead of time, and this gives others the opportunity to provide input and allow participants time to brainstorm ideas and inputs in advance to the meeting. It's important to be flexible, but use your agenda as a tool to stay on topic, so you utilize your and everybody else's time effectively. If you're consistent in starting your meetings on time and end at the specified time, people will be less likely to arrive late. And this will also ensure that you cover the business that you want to cover in as much time as allowed. Moving right along, informing. Like you said before, informing, or like I said before, I don't know who's talking. You distribute the agenda ahead of time by email. I did that when I was a recorder, and it proved to be very effective. We had a lot of brothers that would come to the meetings that were aware of what was going on and what was going to be discussed. So they brought ideas that they had brainstormed and ideas to the meeting because they knew what was going to be discussed and they knew what they wanted to talk about. You want to make sure your agenda is self-explanatory by listing subheadings. You saw that in my agenda. I had everything listed out. Make sure your members are fully aware of the meeting. I don't know if you got a calendar invite like I did for these meetings, but I find that, like I said earlier, working in the corporate world, having a calendar and having calendar invites, whether it be written or whether it be on your phone, is very useful because I can look and see, oh, I've got this meeting at this time. I don't need to plan anything else. And a good rule of thumb is very effective. I don't know if y'all still use GroupMe, but that was an entire shit show when I was in college. But group text calls and those calendar invites are very effective in making sure that all members are aware of the meetings. So if they don't show up, you have record that that member has been notified of the meeting and they just chose not to show up. So that's good for EC for, you know, wanting to record attendance. If you send out that email invite and they hit accept or they hit decline or they hit maybe, you have a record of who's accepted that meeting, who's declined that meeting and why, and who said they may be there, but they haven't said something yet. So if they hit accept or maybe and they didn't show up and didn't give you a reason, then you have proof right there that you said, hey, well, you were going to be at this meeting and you weren't. What's up? So that, you know, allows the time to be more effective because you have that person there. If you're brainstorming, make sure you tell people in advance, share your ideas so that, you know, they may be thinking about the same thing. They might want to take your ideas and bounce off of them so that they can brainstorm too. They can come prepared with alternate ideas. Preparation is key to a meeting. As stated the entire time, you want to make sure your agenda is organized. Important and or urgent items need to be prioritized over everything else. Allocate time for each item. This allows you to know what items deserve more time over other items. And make sure that the resources that you're using have been adequately planned out. Structure and control. This is a big one because a lot of meetings can get out of control. People can go off on tangents, jokes can be made, and people just discuss stuff that is not pertinent to the item of business that is being discussed at that point in time. It is up to the meeting leader to establish structure and control of the meeting and ensure the meeting runs the way that it should. So, Commander, Lieutenant Commander, it is up to the two of you to make sure that the meeting is structured and controlled at all times. If it's not, get your shit together and get it under control. Brothers, it is your job to make sure that you're not acting like children and we're all acting like civilized adults, and the nights that we are, to make sure that the meeting does not get out of control and remain structured. So, with that being said, you should avoid speaking of politics and opinion in meetings. Use measurable data that can be backed up by fact. Wikipedia is not fact. Avoid using phrases such as I like, this is good. Instead, use encouraging constructive comments that can be supported by said data. This is important because it ensures that the correct and right decisions are being made not by emotion or opinion, but by what is in the better interest of the chapter and what is being made by fact. How many decisions have you known that have been incorrect because somebody factored emotions and opinions into them and had no fact to back up emotions and said opinion? And how many meetings have you saw that have become derailed because somebody or others brought emotions and opinions into the meeting and made everybody else mad? That's not what you want to do. That will derail an entire meeting. So, avoid using emotions and opinion. Emotions are okay. Expressing your emotions is fine. But what you don't want to do with those emotions is attack everybody else's ideas that they have backed up by fact. That goes back to what I mentioned in the beginning. Be open-minded. If you don't agree with something, let it go on, express your ideas, and agree to disagree. Right? Perfect. So, the last being summarize and recording. There should always be a note taker or recorder. If for some reason the recorder cannot attend the meeting, it is up to the EC or the commander to appoint a person to record that meeting. There should never be an instance, whether it's EC meetings, it is chapter meetings, or committee meetings. There should always be a record of meetings. If you're meeting with a group of people and you're discussing business that pertains to the fraternity as a whole, or it pertains to members of the fraternity, that meeting needs to be recorded. Whether you write it down on a piece of paper and give it to Jarrett, or whether you type it up on a computer and email it to everybody. Every meeting needs to have notes and needs to be recorded. That provides accountability. So when we submit that accountability test that we go through, PEP, every year, we have proof that we had this meeting that discussed this item, which led to this. So nationals can look at that and say, oh, they actually did it, and they just didn't put it on here to make themselves look better. That goes back to fact. So we have proof that we had this meeting and we discussed this line of business. So committee meetings, EC meetings, every meeting needs to be recorded. If notes need to be distributed to members that were not there, all notes should be recorded, finalized, and distributed to members within 48 hours, especially if we're having meetings weekly. That gives people a couple of days time to come to their next meeting prepared with the ideas that they want to share, or come to members of exec with discrepancies. Any questions about those 5? Perfect. So this is a big thing right here, participation. So how do you ensure that members attend and are actively involved in the meeting? First being, how do we encourage meeting attendance? Anybody want to answer? I know we're getting tired. It's almost done. This is the next to last slide.
You got to make sure everyone knows when and where that meeting is happening.
Okay. One more person.
I mean, you kind of said it yourself. If you as a leader are able to provide a thorough and detailed agenda, that's going to already give incentive to the members to attend, because it'll give because they'll know what to expect. They know how long they'll be there. And if it's something that they're concerned about, they're going to be there to input their opinion.
Perfect. So I like those ideas. Those are perfect. I'm going to discuss 3 that Sigma Nu themselves have mentioned in this facilitator manual, actually. One being have and enforce a policy on attending regular meetings. This is something that when bylaws are addressed and that exec meets on attendance, that, for example, 80% participation at weekly meetings is required. And then you tie that policy to some kind of incentive. Positive incentives being, we don't necessarily have a house, but on the road, but preference for house picks, preference on Big Brother selection, a parking space that at the house that you don't have to pay for during game days, or negative incentives, fines. You can't be in intramurals. Social probations, you can't attend this, you can't attend that. A big thing being, if you decide to charge fines, provide food or snacks at these meetings for the participants that are there, funded through those fines that are garnered from the people that didn't show up to the meeting. So essentially, you didn't show up to the meeting, you're paying for everybody to come to the meeting and have snacks on your dime. And then, like Ricardo said, structure the agenda of the meeting so that there's new business for the members to engage with, knowing that there's going to be something discussed that interests them, and can increase the anticipation of these meetings. So you got people there, you got people to attend. How do you ensure that members are active and productive in the meeting? One person.
You make it required.
Okay, it's required to come to the meeting, but how do you ensure that they participate in the meeting?
This is Martin. Easy way to do it is to, if you notice somebody's not paying attention, you call on them or say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Blah blah blah, something like that. Along
Okay.
those lines. Depends on the situation.
Yeah. So a couple of things that Nationals has mentioned. Structure, again, the agenda of the meeting so that there's new business for members to engage with. Knowing that they'll have something to discuss and vote on can increase anticipation of meetings as well as active participation. And then turn weekly roll call into a game or learning activity by having each brother confirm his presence with a designation of a school and another signature chapter. For example, instead of just saying present or here, say Alpha Virginia Military Institute. That'll brush you up on your history. Once the chapter has been named that week, no one can repeat it. If the brother doesn't know a new chapter or designation, he can pass by saying present or here. And you switch up the order of the roll call each week so that those at the end of the alphabet aren't regularly the last one to be called on. You can see a listing of said chapters on the website. And then set aside time in meetings for committees to briefly connect, to confirm their report, set a time for their next meeting, or update one another on items since their last meeting. This gives everybody a chance to speak and actually makes people speak. So you can't just sit in the back and be a back row Baptist the whole time. So, last thing we're going to discuss, and then, like I said, I'll let you guys get out of here. So as a meeting leader, you will no doubt encounter some difficult situations. Knowing how to deal with these situations will help you stay on track and get your work done. For sake of time, I'm not going to ask you guys to give me ideas. I'm just going to read through some of these. A participant who keeps dozing off, college is hard. You are tired. I understand. I am tired every single day of my working life. But for a participant who keeps dozing off, move closer to that brother while you're talking. The increased volume of their voice will get their attention. Make eye contact, cue someone sitting next to them, get their attention, like nudge the person, hey, wake your ass up. We're talking about stuff. I know you're tired, but wake up. After the meeting, you can go home and go to sleep. Keep in mind that it may not be about you. Brother that's dozing off may not be an indicator that they're bored. It could really be an indicator that something is going on in their personal life that's keeping them from sleeping, or that they're focused on something else that has nothing to do with that meeting. Like I said, something may be going on in their personal life, they're not sleeping. That's not up to you to determine. If you nudge them and say, hey, there's a meeting going on, wake up a little bit, and they're like, I'm sorry, I've just got a lot going on, leave it at that. If they don't say anything, they keep dozing off, let them doze off and let them miss the information. If they have something going on and they're a leader, they will reach out to who they need to reach out to get the information that they missed. A person who keeps going off on tangents when they talk, ask close-ended questions. Close-ended questions being yes, no. Don't need any other response. So, are you going to work tomorrow? Yes. Are you getting in the car? Yes. Suggest that the participants build upon the previous speaker's ideas before adding something new. Self-explanatory. A participant who talks too much. We all know somebody who talks too much. I was one of those people that talked too much when I was in the chapter, and I was quickly told to shut the fuck up. Because people got places they want to go. Ask the dominated person only closed questions. Again, yes, no. Thank the person for his or her contribution, but that you would like to hear what others have to say. I like what you brought to the table, but I would like to see what everybody else's ideas are. There's a way to be polite, and there's also a way to shut it down without being an asshole. This is a big one. A person who is sitting in the back and being disruptive. Make eye contact with that person and be clear with nonverbal signals that you disapprove of this. If they're an adult and acting like an adult, they will stop. If they're a child acting like a child, they will not stop and they can leave the meeting. Respond to any comments as though it were a constructive suggestion, whether it's negative or not, and that you didn't quite catch it. Excuse me, did you have something to add? That puts them on the spot by saying, I heard you say something. Did you have something to add that you wanted to share with the others? Letting them know that you are listening to them and that they need to stop unless they have something constructive to add. Right? So, a participant who keeps interrupting others. Biggest thing, establish and enforce the ground rules on interrupting others. Don't be an asshole. If somebody's talking, don't interrupt them. Mom and Daddy told you when you was younger, do you not see two grown folk having a conversation? Don't interrupt. I can't tell you how many times I got popped in the mouth for interrupting people when they were talking. It is by far the most disrespectful thing that you can do. Don't be that guy. Wait till it's your turn. Wait till you're recognized, and then you can bounce off of anything that needs to be bounced off of. So, with that being said, that is it. As you know, understanding how to run an effective meeting and be a good participant is vital. I hope that the information that I bored you with today, Jarrett, I can see you yawning and you act like you're tired and that you actually do some work, but we all really know that you don't. I know that I bored you all today, but it was really great leading this for you all. I'm glad that I can still come back and be involved at some facet. And I hope that you can use some of this knowledge in your next meetings next semester, whenever they may start. And with that being said, does anybody have any question? No question is a dumb question unless it's a dumb question.
How was your break?
Well, I was stuck in the house all day and had COVID, so.
I am so sorry. Merry Christmas.
Merry Chrysler, everybody.
Happy
I know some
Thank
of you.
you. Happy New Year.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say this. I know some of you are sophomores, juniors. You're starting to look for places in the workforce. If you ever look into Amazon and you think that you want to work at Amazon, please let me know. I can refer you. Referrals go straight to the hiring manager and you skip a bunch of the BS that you have to go through when you apply at Amazon. So some of the other active brothers right now, like Jarrett, a couple of other people, have my phone number, my email. Let me know. Send me an email, send me a text. I'd be more than happy to help you on your job search or be a mentor. You just got to let me know. I may be a little young, but I'm a little established in my career since leaving college and feel like I have some knowledge that would be able to help others. So, like I said, if any of you ever need anything at any point, you criminal justice peeps, if you need some help with your classes or don't quite get something, let me know. I'd be happy to help.
Well, all right. Thank you again, Bo. This was very good, very informative. One of the better ones, if I might say. You really went in depth, so I appreciate you for that. Guys that are in here still, please make sure to take this information in. Most of you guys are young, so with us leaving, it's going to rest on your shoulders. And I'm not saying we don't even do it correctly sometimes. So, it's very easy to fall under and just ignore it. So keep your guard up when dealing with this stuff. Kind of make it fair for everybody that plays the game. So, does anybody have anything? Anybody out there with the muted mics?
Feliz Año Nuevo.
I don't even know what that means, but thank you. Ryan, don't we have another one tomorrow?
Yeah, we do. It's for sophomores only, though. It's faced.
Okay, and that's on Teams correctly or correct?
Yeah, it's on Teams. It's at 7 o'clock, and it's with Rich.
All right. So sophomores, you have that coming up tomorrow. Please check your calendars on Outlook. We do have chapter coming up soon with January approaching, as well as Ricardo. I need to get with you about College of Chapters that's coming up. I think that's about it. Addison, go ahead and send me a text or an email on some. No, he's not. I'll get with him. We'll be planning a bylaws lead session. We're trying to figure out a date that'll work best for everybody. So we'll have that before the first chapter meeting. As well as I believe we're going to do a ritual. Little, did you want to do a ritual lead?
Yeah, probably the 9th when we come back before the classes start. That's also a drill weekend, so I'll get with you or whoever, because we don't know what time we'll get out for drill, which luckily I'm like down the street from the house.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get that going. Y'all just keep an eye out on your Outlook calendars for those approaching dates. If you have any questions, any concerns about dates, please contact Martin or me, either or. But yeah, if you got nothing else for him, I'm good with him.
I don't have anything else other than thank you all for letting me do this, and hopefully I will see you in J Vegas here soon.
Thank you, Bo.
Thank you again, Bo.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good night.